guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to go over something that I was a little bit conflicted if we should put it in the rules section or under events. I'm going to go ahead and throw it under events because I feel like it's something that is more event-wide. It's a rule that I feel like everybody should probably be using at their events, and that's a hold or blind man rule. What we do is basically if, you need to call a hold or like a pause to the game at any point in time, you basically, one of the admins will blow a whistle, or someone will usually say, hey, there's a hold here for some reason. And that's usually like, our biggest one is usually, people just walking by, people who aren't involved in the game, because we do play in a public space. We don't want to, run into kids or adults or, be firing blasters and somebody gets hit in the eye or something like that because they're not wearing eye pro. We just don't, you don't want to cause trouble. You don't want to, have any law called on you or something like that, as crazy as it might sound. That's our number one thing. Of course, like if someone gets hurt or falls down, you need to pause the game for a minute to, assess the situation. Even if there's some sort of malfunction maybe with any of your equipment and you just need to put the entire game on pause for a few moments. We do have rules for that, and I think everybody should have some sort of rules for that. So definitely if you're running a game or you're planning on running a game, you want to go over with all of your players. This is, our rules for hold or blind man. What we do, like I said, is, somebody will call a hold or say, hey, there needs to be a hold, and admin will blow a whistle once it gets to them. But basically, if you hear someone saying hold, your job as a player is to also yell hold, and you're sort of playing this game of hold telephone. And when you're on hold, we do the same thing as if you're going back to base, like you hold your blaster or your hand in the air. You stop moving, you can't pick up darts or literally it's paused, right? There's no reloading, blasters, doing anything. It's just pause right where you are. If you need to move a few feet to like get into the shade while you're waiting, because sometimes we got kids that take a long time to get across our playing field, that's fine, but come back to, right where you are so that you can continue pretty much exactly where you left off. I know it's not ideal, it's not perfect, but, we don't live in a video game, so you can't pause midway and then like start again. It is what it is. So if you're going to have a hold, right, and you're going to do something like King of the Hill and you're using timers like us, you definitely want to be able to tell all of your players, like, hey, whoever's closest to that timer, please, stop it, pause it, whatever you guys, depending on the timers you use or what you're doing. If there's a game timer, like somebody needs to pause that or the clock or whatever, if you're playing Capture the Flag and there's only like 15-minute rounds or something, be sure that you have sort of all of that narrowed down and you go over it with your players and anybody that's maybe helping you admin. If you have somebody on the other team that has a whistle, that's usually how we do it. So somebody has a start and a stop, and then we have a game on, like once people have walked by or whatever the issue is that has been addressed, we'll basically we'll have whistles, a certain number of whistles that stop the game, a certain number of whistles that start the game, and a certain number of whistles that mean game over. So all the players are supposed to kind of know, like, all right, game on. And usually there'll be like one person that'll yell, one of the admins will yell game on, and everybody will sort of start going and yelling game on at the same time. That way people on the other side of the field, if it's particularly far away, they'll be able to, start playing as well, and they know the hold is over. So holds are just something, like I said, it's a rule, but it's more of an event rule that I feel like all events should have this, even if you're not playing in a public space. Somebody falls down, hurts themselves, maybe they scrape a knee, maybe they break something, who knows, depending on where you're playing, it's always good to sort of prepare for the worst. It's kind of like the first aid kit episode where everybody should have a first aid kit. Everybody should also have sort of a blind man or a hold rule or something like that. I say blind man, that came from Airsoft when we used to play. It was a blind man rule. They would say blind man, that meant someone was hurt on field and people needed to stop shooting and doing things there. So it's sort of the same idea. We wanted to bring that in, like I said, just for safety, honestly. Everybody should have something like that. So definitely, if you're not implementing it in your games, think about doing it. Even if it never comes up, it's better to have it there in your back pocket in case something does happen. So that'll do it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. As always, stay safe, have fun, and happy tagging.